Welcome to MIS 2343. I'm Miss Shaw and I will be your instructor for this course. I want to thank you for choosing this class. We have an exciting semester ahead of us. I know this semester may look a little differently than some of your past semesters due to COVID. But anyway, we will be learning a lot about all things Excel and Access in this class. So this is a very important course that will help you with all of your future courses and possibly in your career, no matter what path you choose. So I want to congratulate you for choosing this course. You're all leaders for choosing it. So throughout the semester, this class will really help you develop your skills in time management. And what I mean by that is I have a very structured class set up, and you will be responsible for sticking to a very strict timeline in this class. So you're going to really be learning how to develop your time management skills, your independent work. Since we're not really so much in the classroom, we are somewhat, but we don't have a whole lot of group work, but you still have some opportunities to do group work in here. And you will be developing some self-efficacy in this class as well. So this course is fun and exciting. Of course, I think it is because I'm teaching it, but it's going to require some hard work and want to on your part. So let me show you a little bit about how the class is set up. Let me share my screen with you and get over to that section. Okay, so this is what your course page looks like. When you first get into Blackboard, you will see this is your homepage landing. On the left-hand side of your course, you'll see your syllabus, your online classroom, the discussions, and my grades, things like that. The main two items, I guess I should say, that you should be looking for is your syllabus and your online classroom. Those are the two main tabs that you need to pay attention to. The first one is your syllabus tab. This is going to show you a syllabus for your class. And don't be alarmed that there's so many syllabus tabs there. I teach several sections of this class. Really, all of the syllabi are the same for this class. The only difference is maybe the class times and things like that. So it really doesn't matter which one you click on. I have all of the courses set up the same for it, okay? But you can look and click on the time that your class is or your course number if you're taking this online. One thing that I want to point out to you that is very important is your pacing guide. So I'm going to click on that now and show it to you. Okay, hopefully you can all see the pacing guide now. This really is your lifeline in my class. So what a pacing guide is, it is really just shows you what the date is for the assignment or the module that we're covering and what the due date is for each assignment in the class. What we will be doing is really each week we'll be covering a new topic or a new module in the course. You will have an assignment that goes along with that. Usually you'll have at least 2 assignments and then a bonus assignment for every module. And then you'll have a due date over here to the right-hand side when that is due. Pay very close attention to that. Like I was telling you, you're going to learn your time management skills. Here's where that comes into play. It's your responsibility to turn those in a timely manner. I have that set up all the way through. We will have 3 exams throughout the course. My exams, the way they're set up, you will take those online. They each have 2 parts to them. One is like a written exam consisting of like multiple choice, true, false, items like that. And then part 2 is a project that's similar to like your Project A assignments that you'll have throughout the modules. It's So it's pretty easily laid out in there. I do have the way my tests are. Part 1 is timed. You will have so many minutes to take it, but you can use open resources. Okay, so I don't care if you use your ebook or your notes or whatever, Google, whatever you want to use, but you only have a specific amount of time to take the exam. Okay, part 2, it's a project. So as long as you submit it by the due date, you're fine. So you'll notice that the due date for these is a Thursday. All of my assignments, typically assignments for the week, we cover a module. We'll work on these for the week of, for example, our first module we'll work on in week 2, which is August 24th through the 28th. So we'll be working on module 1 through that week. And then I expect you to turn in the homework no later than the following Monday. The reason why I give you until the following Monday, that does not mean start on that work on that Monday. That means just in case something happens, something comes up. I know people have jobs outside of here. Some people are working full-time jobs and trying to go to school as well. That gives you the weekend to kind of finish up any assignments you have. And if for some reason you don't get it finished up and you maybe have a question on an item, you can ask me on Monday. A lot of times I do respond on the weekends, but just in case I don't get back to you, that gives you the opportunity to get that question answered and then get your assignment submitted. Again, that does not mean wait until that following Monday to do your assignments, okay? That's just kind of an extra grace day that I put in there just to get a question answered. Okay, I hope everyone's clear on that. Because the next module starts that next week. So you have all week to complete those assignments. And again, then you have that next, it's not due until that next Monday, okay? Hopefully that's clear for everyone. Tests, the way tests are due, they're due on Thursdays. You have Monday, the test will open on a Monday. You have Monday through Thursday to get those submitted. So you have 4 days to work on your exams, okay? But on part 1, once the test opens, you have 90 minutes to complete part 1, okay? So enough on tests and assignments. Let me get back over and I just want to quickly show you how the class is set up. You'll click on your online classroom. You'll go into the module. I have it set up week by week. You can scroll down and see there's really no reason to get lost in here. I have everything set up pretty easily for you to follow. So for example, module 1, it's in week 2, August 24th through the 28th. You'll click on that. There's a little introduction that goes into it. Again, I give you the timeline on what we're working on, what the due dates are, how long approximately it's going to take you to complete that, how many points it's worth, and then you'll go down here and you'll click on the assignment and complete it. Okay, I do have a link to the ebook. These are all links that take you directly to it. Please use the links here in Blackboard to link directly to Cengage. Okay, Cengage is the code that you're getting from the bookstore. You'll use that to get over into Cengage MindTap, and that's where you're going to be completing your assignments using that ebook and all of that. Pretty much for this class, we're going straight through modules 1 through 8. And some of my other classes, I'll skip around some, but it's always best to use the links in Blackboard that takes you directly to the assignments. And that way you don't get lost. You don't get off doing some other assignments that I don't have assigned. Always use my links in Blackboard, okay? That way you for sure do the assignments that I've assigned and not something else from the book that you don't have to do. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. I do have a couple of like getting started files in here that's hopefully a little bit of help for you, and help on saving and moving files. I know sometimes students want to use like their Google Drive to save files in, and here's kind of a step-by-step instruction on how to do that. One other thing that I wanted to talk about really quickly with you is just in general, the class this semester. I know things are a little bit different with COVID going on, and just wanted to talk about that just a little bit. So a lot of you are in my face-to-face class, and I've had a lot of emails, students asking me, how does that work? Are we still coming to class? And as of right now, yes, we do still have classes, but I will tell you, it's not a requirement. And what that means is you have options, and you have the option to come to class. You can complete the class online. I've just showed you, I have everything set up for you where you can complete it in an online format, or you can do a combination of the two. You can attend class some, you can complete the class online some, or you can do a combination of the both, okay? What I'm gonna be doing is posting videos of myself going through my notes. I do have notes posted online, and I'll be doing a lecture kind of like what I'm doing right now. So I'll be posting a video of me going through the notes. And then that way, if you do choose to come to class, you can watch that before you come in. And that way you just have lab time. Like you can do your hands-on assignments in class. And that way you can just ask me questions while you're in there, and you have more lab time, okay? The way our classes are gonna be, we've had to reduce the number of students that can be in a lab at one time. And so most of my classes are pretty full. And so I'm having to assign you a day that you can come in. So I'll be splitting all my classes into an A day and a B day. So I'll be sending an email out letting you know if you're assigned A or B, which is Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday or Thursday, depending on what your class schedule is. And then if you're like on Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, I'll be in the lab on Monday and Wednesday for those days. And then on Friday, I'll be doing like where I'm in right now, like a video chat. I'll be having open Zoom all morning. So if you have a question, you just log in to my Zoom link and you can ask questions like that. And that way we don't have too many students in the lab. We're not over the number of students that we can have in the lab at a time. So we'll kind of play it by ear and see how that goes. I will have office hours also. So if you want to come in my office, you just let me know and you'll just make an appointment, come in. That way we don't have too many people in the office. Again, this is a whole new territory for all of us. So we'll kind of play it by ear and adjust and go as we can. If you are coming into the building, to the College of Business, please use the center stairwell to come upstairs, because I am on the 3rd floor and that's where the lab is. In my office, you'll use the center stairwell to go upstairs, and then the side stairwells to go downstairs. So a little differently. And then please use the face covering policy for the university. Read up on that policy and make sure you're following it. Okay. Let me make sure I don't have anything else in my notes to tell y'all. I did tell you attendance is not mandatory for the class. So if you are in one of my face-to-face sections, you don't have to come to class. You have options to do that. So what I will say to all of my students, whether you're in an online class, a face-to-face class, no matter what kind of class you're taking, attendance is mandatory, okay? So that doesn't mean coming to a physical class. That means logging into your class, okay? I expect you to log in weekly. I expect you to do your assignments, submit them in a timely manner. That type of attendance is mandatory, okay? So to successfully complete the course, you should be logging in You should be doing your work. You should be submitting assignments. You should be reaching out to me if you don't understand something. You should be jumping in one of my Zoom links. I've got office hours posted in the instructor link here in Blackboard. So you should be jumping in there and asking questions in my open Zoom if you don't understand something, okay? So please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you don't know how to do something, and I will be more than happy to help you. All right. I guess that's all for right now. I know this is a really lengthy message, but again, we're going to get through all of this together, and this is just an odd start of the semester, but please reach out to me if you need any help with anything, and I will see you guys soon. Hopefully you'll have a great start to your semester. See you guys soon.